A deafening storm rages over the coastal town of Seabrook, waves clawing at the cliffs like wild beasts. In the chaos, a single beam of light cuts through the darkness, the lighthouse. Inside, Elias, the weathered keeper, hears a faint cry over the howling wind. He steps out into the storm, lantern in hand, and spots a fishing boat being smashed against the rocks, two figures clinging for their lives. With no time to wait for help, Elias grabs a rope and plunges into the freezing waves. Knowing one wrong move could cost them all. Will he reach them in time? Or will the sea claim another victim? A wide, dramatic shot of the coastal town of Seabrook under a furious storm. The sky is a chaotic swirl of black and gray clouds, illuminated by jagged bolts of lightning. Towering waves, their crests glowing white, crash violently against jagged cliffs. In the foreground, the lighthouse stands tall and unyielding, its powerful beam cutting through the darkness like a sword of hope. Rain lashes horizontally, and the wind bends trees almost to the ground. The scene feels alive with the raw power of nature. A close-up of Elias, a rugged man in his 50s with a weathered face and a determined expression. He's inside the lighthouse, adjusting the lantern's flame with steady hands. The warm, golden glow of the lantern contrasts with the cold, stormy night visible through the rain-streaked windows. The wind howls outside, and the faint sound of crashing waves can almost be heard. Elias's eyes are focused, his posture tense, as if he senses something is wrong. Elias pauses mid-motion, his head tilted slightly as he hears a faint, desperate cry over the roar of the storm. His face is a mix of concern and urgency. Behind him, the lighthouse windows show the chaotic storm outside. He grabs his heavy coat and lantern, the light casting dramatic shadows on the walls. The moment feels charged with tension, as if time has slowed down for Elias to process the cry. A small fishing boat is being tossed like a toy in the monstrous waves. Its mast is broken, and the hull is taking on water. Two figures, a young man and an older man, cling to the deck, their faces pale and terrified. The boat is perilously close to sharp, jagged rocks that loom like teeth in the darkness. The lighthouse beam sweeps across the scene, momentarily illuminating the desperate situation. Elias makes his way down a narrow, slippery path on the cliffs, the rope slung over his shoulder, and a lifebuoy in hand. The rain is relentless, and the wind threatens to knock him off balance. Below, the waves crash against the rocks, sending sprays of icy water high into the air. The lighthouse beam shines above him, casting his shadow on the jagged rocks. His face is set with determination, his eyes fixed on the boat below. Elias stands at the base of the cliffs, waist deep in the churning, icy water. He hurls the lifebuoy toward the boat, the rope unraveling behind it in a dramatic arc. The young fisherman grabs the buoy with trembling hands, his face a mix of fear and hope. The older man slumps against the boat's railing, too weak to move. The waves crash around Elias, their force almost knocking him over, but he holds his ground. Elias plunges into the freezing water, the waves swallowing him momentarily. His face is a mask of determination as he fights his way back to the surface. In the background, the older fisherman is swept into the sea, his body limp. The water is a chaotic mix of foam and darkness, with the lighthouse beam cutting through the scene. Elias reaches out, his hand just inches from the older man's arm. Elias and the older fisherman are wrapped together in the rope, fighting against the waves as they swim back to shore. The young fisherman watches from the rocks, his face etched with worry. The waves are relentless, pulling and pushing them, like a cruel game. The lighthouse beam shines in the background, a symbol of hope and safety. Elias's face is strained, but his grip on the older man never falters. Inside the lighthouse, Elias and the two fishermen sit huddled together, wrapped in thick blankets. Steam rises from mugs of hot tea, and the warm glow of the lantern fills the room. The young fisherman thanks Elias, tears streaming down his face, while the older man lies unconscious but safe on a cot. Outside, the storm still rages, but inside there's a quiet sense of relief and gratitude. The next morning, the sea is calm and glassy, reflecting the soft light of dawn. The wreckage of the fishing boat lies on the rocks, battered but still intact. The lighthouse stands tall and proud, its beam now dimmed in the daylight. Elias gazes out at the horizon, his face thoughtful and calm. The lantern still burns faintly in the background, a reminder of the night's events. The scene feels peaceful, yet carries the weight of what has been overcome. And that's our today's story end. If you like the story and want more interesting stories like this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe our channel. Your one click is not a click. It's a motivation for us. Thanks for watching our videos. Goodbye.